On this episode, it's midnight, it's a car park, it's the airport, and we're talking donating to charities and convincing people to implement water-sensitive urban design initiatives. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ideanthro. Today, coming to you from a car park. But it's not just any car park, it's the car park at Brisbane Airport. But it's not just any time of day, it's the car park at Brisbane Airport at midnight on a Saturday night. So why am I making you a video midnight, Saturday night at Brisbane Airport? Well, this is it. I've recently been fortunate enough to do a little bit of work with both Whitsunday Regional Council and Townsville City Council. And I was catching a late flight back tonight from Townsville. And something happened on the flight that got me thinking and gave me the idea for this video. So while it's fresh in my mind, I wanted to make it for you. So what exactly happened? Well, for this video to make sense, I'm going to have to do three things. I'm going to have to set a little bit of context, then I'm going to have to tell you the story of what happened on that flight, and then I'm going to try and wrap it up into some kind of coherent narrative. And if we're lucky, somewhere along the way, someone's going to walk through this car park and wonder why the heck I'm filming myself. So, the background to this is water-sensitive urban design, water-sensitive cities, really any form of trying to implement a new way of doing things. At some point in that journey, you're going to come across this scenario where you essentially are trying to convince people to maybe stop doing things one way and to start doing them another way. And that requires that element of convincing, of sometimes literally going in and sitting down and going, hey, look, I get that you've been doing it this way for however long, your entire career perhaps, a year perhaps, somewhere in the middle. I get that you've been doing it for this long, but hey, look, there's this other way and we really want to change. And that can be difficult because, you know, understandably, people might sometimes dig their heels in a little bit. Be like, hey, you know what? I don't want to change. And so this video is about that. It's related to that. So, Jetstar flying home. I've caught a few Jetstar flights recently, and I think it's pretty common that just before the end of the flight, they do a little bit of like a call around and like collection of some money for charity, like spare change, that sort of thing. And so normally the flight attendant would jump on the PA and be like, hey, you know, Jetstar supports this charity. If you got any spare change, we're going to be coming through the cabin in a minute. You know, by all means, put it in our bag and it'll go to good use, right? Fairly straightforward. Tonight something different happens. The flight attendant jumps on the PA and is like, hey, look, it's that time of the flight where we, you know, normally collect the money for charity. And then she launched into this, which was distinctly different and distinctly being said from the heart. So she's like, look, recently, each of the crew bases, I'm getting the terminology wrong there, but essentially like the crews on the flights are based out of particular locations. So each of the crew bases, which is what I'll call it, each of the crew bases had the opportunity to vote on which charitable initiative they would like the money that they collect on their flights to go towards. Tonight on this flight, we've got a split crew. Part of the crew's from Brisbane, part of the crew's from Coolangatta. But when each of these crews voted the other day, recently, whenever it was, they both voted to support this particular charity, which is attempting to prevent child trafficking in, attempting to reduce or to stop, I can't remember the terminology, child trafficking in Vietnam. And so up to that point, you know, it's fairly straightforward. You're like, oh, okay, fair enough, they'd like us to donate to charity. And then this flight attendant said something that I found really interesting. She's like, look, I get that we've got lots of people on this flight who fly with us really regularly and have probably donated in the past. I get that maybe you're on this flight and you'd like to donate, but you don't have the cash on you at the moment. Don't worry, I don't want anyone to feel pressured to donate. If you've got the money, do it. If not, no worries, sweet, it's all good. And I went, that was interesting. Because my mood changed when she said that. Because normally you listen to this and it's like, you get pitched, you know, charitable donations and that sort of thing so regularly, you can get a little bit numb to it. But she said this, and as she said that, it turned off my defenses to that. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really interesting. I'm much more open to her suggestion of what she would like me to do. So anyway, she finishes up, saying this, they come through the cabin, and I noticed, well, I feel that I noticed. My perception here is that they collected significantly more money than I have normally seen them collect on Jetstar flights. Now, I've got no hard data on that, right? But my feeling here is that they collected more money. And I think, again, no hard data here, I think that was probably due to the way she sold this, and particularly the way that she took the pressure off. My arm's getting quite tight. I need to hold it up with the other arm. So, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Even more interesting. That relates to stormwater management. So coming back to where we started this video, we're interested in water-sensitive urban design. We're interested in the concept of water-sensitive cities. We're interested in, sustainable stormwater management, whatever it might be. And you come to try and convince someone that they need to change their ways. And let's imagine a scenario. Let's imagine you're working in a council and you need to change something about the development assessment process. Now, people in DA are really time poor, right? They're under the pump a lot. And so you come along to them and you've got this new thing that you want to implement or you want to change. I'm assuming you're a staff member within the council, right? Maybe you're in the environment branch and you're trying to influence the way DA does something with respect to the environment. That's the scenario. You come along to them, and it's not uncommon, I've observed, and this isn't a shot at DA, I'm just using DA as an example here. You come along, and there will be hesitance or resistance to the idea. In the similar way that you might be hesitant to donating to a charity. In the instance of like, well, there are many charities that I could donate to. This person's on this, this flight attendant's asking me to donate to this one. Oh, should I, shouldn't I? That kind of, why am I being sold this block can go up in that instance, I think. And also in the instance of the DA. Oh, we're so busy, this person from environment, like I get that they want to do this, but I don't have time, I don't have whatever, The pressure starts to build and the blockades go up. So I just wonder whether we could use this technique like the flight attendant on the Jetstar flight used and take the pressure off and go into those sorts of meetings. So you're the environment person, you're wanting to convince DA, go into the meeting and say, hey, look, I've noticed this and look, I want to talk about, can we do things a little bit differently? But I just want to say to you, no pressure. If you can do it, sweet. I'll be super pleased. I'll love you for it. But if you can't, that's okay. Obviously, it's not the outcome that I want, but I'm okay with that. If you can put your hand on your heart, say to me, that's cool, sorry, we can't do it, then I will be cool with that. And I just wonder whether that sort of technique at the beginning of these sorts of discussions could really take a lot of the tension out of the air and allow things to progress in a much more open way, and we could quite often get much better results in these sorts of discussions. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm going to have a play with it myself. Okay, sweet. That's it for now. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Ideanthro. If you'd like to know more about what it is that we do, you can find us a few ways. You can find us online at ideanthro.com. You can find us at facebook.com/Ideanthro. You can find our videos on YouTube. We're also on Instagram. There's heaps of ways to get in contact. If you've got an idea for the video or you've got a comment about this one, hit us up via one of those means and we'll be in touch straight away. Sweet, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the random setting in a car park, and we'll see you next time.